For today's video, we'll go over the round 11 team names. And for the most part, it's a really good news just about everywhere. So we get a few rookies back, a few important rookies held, a few premiums are back. And we've also got a few new rookies, which is great. I think we were all worried if we would get rookies or not at this stage of the season. But looks like we'll get a few on there. I'll try my best to comment on what their job security looks like, but I can't be sure. I wouldn't go early on any rookies at this stage, but we'll see how it plays out. But fingers crossed. So it looks like all games will go ahead, and hopefully games go ahead as they are supposed to, as scheduled. And there's not much, switching between bye rounds, because that would, I think, complicate things a lot. But fingers crossed, see how we go. But yeah, it looks like all games are going ahead. So the first game we have, really excited for this game, the Dogs versus the D's, top of the table clash. Lippy's in, Garcia's in, English is in, Treloar out, Scott out probably for a week. Lewis Young out, and Mitch Hannon. Melbourne side, Salem's in, Jeddah and Sparrow. So the relevance here, Garcia is highly touted rookie. I think he did his ACL a few years ago from what I read. I'm not sure on his VFL form, but this is one where we'll probably... I think we can plan for a 123k rookie in the next 2 weeks or so. He's one we can look at, I think. I just don't know his job security. Treloar's out for a while, so I assume midfielder for midfielder. We'll see what happens. And looking at the emergencies, I don't think any of those players are threatening Garcia's spot in the short term, but we'll see. So yeah, one that I wouldn't go early on, but one that definitely has scoring power and could play the next few weeks with the Dunks and Treloar. There's spots open there, and players are shifting around. Maybe McNeil could go into the midfield and Garcia plays forward. I'm not sure. We'll just monitor that this week. Tim English is in. That's good. Doesn't really affect anything, though. It means maybe less enticing to Vice Captain Gawn. And Anthony Scott's managed, so this is great. So I'm holding Scott this week now. I was going to trade him so he doesn't drop, and I'll trade him next week. He's got a very high break even. And on Melbourne side, Salem, I don't think anyone brings in Salem, especially if you have Mills. Mills is clearly, obviously, the better option at around the same price with the same buy. So Salem's a bit of a weird one, but he's been a good pick this year. And nothing much to see here. Bailey Dale names on a wing, probably still plays halfback, you would think, but does push up the ground. So nothing. Riley Garcia last on the bench. Hopefully he plays well enough to get himself a run, but we'll see. And then Melbourne side, not much to see here, I don't think. Harms and interchange, Ben Brown emergency. So yeah, not really much to see here. Now, Brisbane versus the Giants. This should be another good game. So no real significant changes here. Tom Berry is out, and Sam Taylor is out for the Giants. So I still know Jared Berry. So if you still have Dev Robertson, he's looking pretty good. I wish I didn't trade him, but everyone else had like a sub 20 break even when I had to trade him. So it's a bit difficult, but yeah, he's ticking along, and his job security seems pretty good until Berry gets back. And with a groin injury, you never know. You never know when they'll be back. But I think the main thing here is Madden, last on the bench, he held. I am totally against Madden as a pick for me personally in my situation, because I don't want his money over the next few weeks. I just want someone to play throughout the buys. And I still don't know if he's going to play throughout the buys, but he's earned himself another week. They still have a few injuries to come back. I haven't actually seen Diaz's video. I know he was going to speak on James Madden. I'm not interested in Madden though at the moment. If you just want him for, I don't know, 80k over 2 weeks, maybe. But for me, it's too risky for me. But I'll be skipping Madden. And on the Giants side, not much else here. Flynn is playing, which is great. I don't think any of these emergencies are threatening anyone too much. Maybe Braun and Sprout, threatening Sproul's spot, who's a 150k rookie at the moment, but not really interested in him. So yeah, Flynn, we hold him this week, and then we assess where Reeves is at next week or the week after. So Collingwood versus Geelong. Sai is in, Magin's in, Bianco's in. And out, Bo McCreary. I think that's a short-term injury. Josh Thomas is out. Probably should have been out regardless of injury. Taylor Adams has a knee issue, so he's irrelevant this year. Maybe he was rushed back. And Tyler Brown is injured. And then on Geelong side, Max Holmes, I think he's still base price, I'm not sure, as a rookie. You would think he's straight out for Duncan when Duncan comes back from concussion. And Guthrie's medical sub. So on Collingwood side, we get Bianco. So wasn't great in the preseason. Had work ethic issues I read about last year, but I think he's been playing really well in the VFL, but so have a lot of the Collingwood midfielders. So he's a base price defender midfielder, so not one I'm interested in going early on, but definitely a capable one with scoring power. I think he had like a 40-touch game or something in the VFL, if I remember correctly, but we'll see. We'll wait on Bianco, I think, but one you could plan for, maybe after this week, but we'll see. In McCreary, I think it's a short-term injury, but I think it's one where not a priority trade out, but one you can probably get rid of. I don't think he's going to go up too much more in price, but he's been a decent rookie so far. That's about it, really. Looking at these names, nothing much here. Nathan Murphy's in, so that's probably the main one. So that's great. I have Murphy. So yeah, he's my D7 or 8, so that's great. Maybe he can make some money for us, which is good, and provide some cover over the buys. Cam Guthrie is in. One thing to note, it's Geelong. They love a late change, so just have an emergency ready. I'm just being ultra conservative because he's named, I assume he plays, but it's Geelong. They are the kings of late changes, so fingers crossed he's fully fit and doesn't have to play sore. Brought him in, and fingers crossed he's okay. So that's pretty much it. Not much else to see here. Tom Atkins is named half forward. I think they've done that before. I'm trading Atkins this week, but I think I'm pretty sure he's been named half forward before and he's gone back. So I'm not going to read into that too much, but you never know. But yeah, he's been nowhere near the forward, like training with the forwards or anything like. He's been with the backs the entire year, so I severely doubt he's half forward. Okay, the Suns. So Farrow's back in. I thought he was out for longer, which is interesting. So good job if you held him. Corbett out. He's been okay this year. I'm not sure recently though, but Graham out. So he's their ruckman, or their makeshift ruckman. On Hawthorn side, Shields and Burgoyne in. Out O'Meara injured, Cardigan injured, and O'Halloran injured. So that could have opened the door for Brockman, but unfortunately that hasn't opened the door for Brockman. Play a similar role, I think. But anyway, on to Gold Coast side. So Lukosius named at halfback. I think he's probably going to get pushed up to a wing once Bose comes back. But if Bose had a long-term injury, which is, I guess, pretty far-fetched because it's only a minor hamstring, Lukosius for 350k is pretty reasonable price for a halfback. He can probably go 85 to 90 for 350k. I think that's fine for a D6, but again, Bose comes back, he was still a wing, you're kind of screwed. So just thought I'd give that a mention if that happens, but that's not too much. Zach Smith, I don't think I can go Zach Smith. I can't downgrade to a 220k rookie at this point. It just screws up everything. But long term, it might be good, but in the short term, I think it's going to be a lot of really, really painful. So I'm not really interested in Zach Smith unless he scores like 130 or something. Any of the benches, whatever, Ensign on the bench. And on Hawthorn side, CJ still playing. He's best 22. So I don't know why I said that, but yeah, nothing really to see here. So still no Brockman. Who's going to be the sub here? No idea. I wouldn't have a clue. But they keep saying Brockman needs to work on his consistency in the VFL. So Saints have made quite a few changes. So Dunstan in, Wood in, Caulfield in, and Claverino in. So Oscar Claverino, I believe, is a defender. I haven't done a whole lot of research on him, but I think Frico tweeted something about he's taking a lot of intercepts down back. Was drafted quite a while ago, so he's been in the system a few years. So yeah, long awaited debut for him. One where it seems like he has scoring power, but I think we just wait on this one because the injury list has not been updated on the AFL website, so I don't know how long Clark's out for. I don't know how long Frawley's out for. Something we'll keep tabs on. Highmore stays in, which is great. That's what we want. And then just Lazaro out for North, so nothing really to see on North side of things. R2 emergency, so a bit stiff if you have him. Power still playing. Power's dropping a lot in price. It's a bit weird. He goes 90 for 5 games, and then he's just fallen off a cliff for 2 games. So it's hard to tell what he's gonna do. But yeah, he's probably got to trade him, I suppose, before he leaks more. West Coast. So Elliot Yo's back. How much is Yo? $480. Okay, so obviously we don't pick Yo. Maybe if he drops heaps in price and he starts getting a bit more match fitness, we'll see. But he only played like a quarter, about a half in the waffle. Harry Edwards out, Waterman out. So yeah, Harry Edwards, poor job security and didn't score a whole lot. So not the greatest of rookies. So yeah, not much to see on this side. And then Essendon Stringer in, Harry Jones managed. So we'll speak about that in a moment. We'll go over to West Coast side. Not much going on here. Not much there. And then on Essendon side, okay, so Harry Jones has been managed. I'm not sure who will be sub here. But Waterman is in, but I'm concerned that Waterman loses his spot to Jones next week because they're playing very tall. So Stringer's tall, Hooker's tall, Waterman's tall. They're playing Peter Wright, plus I got Phillips as the ruckman. I think Perkins is pretty tall, but does that really count that much? Not sure. So they're running the 4 talls plus Phillips. So that makes me think that they want to play Jones as much as possible. They'd be pretty stupid not to. And the player that goes out is probably Waterman, unless they want to play him half forward or more midfield or something. So I guess you just hold Waterman and you just fingers crossed that he keeps playing. But he's not really one I'm thinking, like I'm not really counting him as a player playing during the buys at this stage, but I'm just a bit worried about that. So next game is Port versus Fremantle. Woodcock, Lena, Frederick, and Fantasia in, but these are extended benches, so Harlett out. In is Brayshaw, thank goodness. Weston Meek, Duman. I think they've floated the idea of playing 2 rucks this week, Freo, so I don't know for sure if Meek plays. He's on the extended bench. But we'll see tomorrow. Not much to see here. So who's going to be the sub? I think it's... So you think Drew and Fantasia play, and then probably Farrell holds, you would think. And then one of Bergman and Bonner plays, and one is the sub, I'm thinking. So I'm probably thinking that Bergman's sub, although I think Bergman should be playing. So, find out tomorrow, I guess. Bit of a shame. Bergman should be playing, in my opinion, but it's just me. Dan Houston is playing, and Lockie Jones is playing. So both were listed as tests for this week with their injuries. So Houston's still clearly not 100% with that shoulder. And Jones had just listed as ankle, but he's playing, so that's fine. So I guess that's fine for Jones. It's a little concerning because he's had a few injuries this year already, outside of his AFL games. And Dan Houston, well, is an interesting one. I think one where you give him a rest, see how he goes after his bye, and then assess. He's a bit too cheap to trade out, but he's one where just trying to figure out if he's going to get his body right or not. And then, yeah, nothing to see here on Fremantle side. So Chera's playing. Chera was listed that he pulled up sore, but he's playing, so that's good. So you've got to be a little bit careful paying $400 for Chera, because I'm not 100% sure he's over that ankle, but he played well. But yeah, the fact that he put up a bit sore is a little bit concerning, but yeah, has a bye soon, I guess. 3 rounds time. Probably feels a little risky to go Chera, but he's probably fine because he's playing. Just put up sore, I guess. And then Andrew Brayshaw's in, so he just had to get through training today, and he was going to be named, so it sounds like he got through training, which is great. Crows versus Richmond. So this is at the Giants Stadium, which is interesting. So Coleman Jones is in, Pressia in, Lotta ins, Caddy in, Cho in, Bolton in, Dow in, Trent Cotchin in. So probably some of these guys aren't going to play. It's extended benches out. Jack Ross, Pickett, Naish, and Lynch. So it looks like Collier Dawkins is extended bench. I assume he holds. So on this bench is... So there's no way Martin plays. I doubt Dow plays. Rioli's playing pretty terrible. Charles probably not going to play because CCJ is playing. So it sounds like Asprey will play, Collie Dawkins will play, and maybe Ralph Smith holds and then Graham. That's what I would guess. But yeah, still Edwards and Lambert to come back in for the Tigers. So still a little bit iffy on Collie Dawkins after his bye, but I think he just needs to perform. So fingers crossed for that. Then on the Crow side, McPherson, Frampton, Hamill in. So we lost O'Connor. He's not playing. I think they've already announced that. So not much else to see here, really. Still no Josh Worrell. I'm a little shocked, to be honest. Why we're playing David McKay over Josh Worrell is embarrassing, but it's whatever. So Sydney vs Carlton. Sinclair in. So Hickey's. That means Hickey's out. Okay, Hickey's injured. I wonder if many people have Hickey. O'Riordan, Bell, Amartz. I can't read that. Amarty. I can't see if that's an S or an E. McInerney, Brand, and Taylor. So a lot of names. Clearly, this is extended bench names. Out Blakey, Fox, Clark, and Hickey. And Carlton in. Jack Martin. Don't ever pick him. Nunes, Casbolt, and Parks, which is nice if you have him. Parks, is he on the bench? He's bench, so maybe he plays, maybe he doesn't. Not sure. So Warner's extended bench. Maybe he's due for a rest. I think he plays though. There's no way. There's a few names here that I severely doubt get named. Lewis Taylor's not 22. Bell probably shouldn't play. And Marty probably shouldn't play. And I don't know about O'Riordan. So I think Warner plays. Heaney's named, so he's in. Always have to check for that. And yeah, Mills named on a wing. That's whatever. He'll play midfield. And then in defence, in the Carlton side, not much else to see here, so I think that's fine. So yeah, they're the teams. So I think it's great news. I think we got a lot of good things. So a lot of mainly the rookies, Highmore and Murphy. I think that's and Waterman as well is what we really wanted. And fingers crossed they play through the buys. Although I'm a little worried about Waterman. But yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys soon.